I went to my cousin.
Welcome to another episode of Master Phil in Your Corner with your host, me, Master Phil. This is episode number 94, Personal Protection. It's all up to you. And today we have my brother from another mother, a repeat offender here on the show, John Robert Pearson of Eagle Guardian Solutions. And we're going to get into this as soon as we do our plugs. So I don't know if you've been paying attention on my YouTube channel or on that's at the Master Phil, or if you just look Master Phil, no underscore, nothing. I'm the Master Phil there. And I've been putting out a lot of educational information in regard to kettlebells, body weight, and knife fighting. So I do a short and then I do another more detailed explanation. So that's been the motif recently. And I also have a lot of these workouts and a great deal of information and videos. Actually, there's 155 of them right now for kettlebells, body weight, dynamic tension, martial arts, self-defense, the whole thing up on my Patreon channel. And that's Master Phil Ross on Patreon. But you know what? Just go to the site, the philross.com site, and you can get to everything. And I'm sure you might have seen on my kettlebell_king on Instagram, I just put up some information regarding my kettlebell workout library manual, which is now available in Kindle format. Just put it up last week, so it's ready to rock and roll. So we've been doing a lot of work here, and then don't forget about Health is a Wealth. We kind of it's on a hold right now because we are revamping the whole database. Going to have some new features and so forth. So can't really sign up right yet. Give it about 2 to 3 weeks, and we'll be fully operational for people to register for Health is a Wealth. And don't forget to look for me on season 3 of Warrior Island. We'll be filming that this August. All right. So without further ado, welcome John Robert Pearson. I know him as Bob, and we're going to talk about personal protection. You know what? The thing is that, and I love the police. 99.9% of police are awesome. They do a great job. But you know what? They are in response. Okay. So they get there. Police arrive in minutes when seconds count. Look at that recent shooting. We're going to get into that a little bit today. I'm going to piss a lot of people off at home. So, Bob, tell us. We have this. We have a program here. You're calling it the AAA for Guardian Solutions. It's a daily paradigm. It's a triangle for self-defense and things. One of the things that we're always kind of on the alert. It doesn't mean we're like John Belushi in in Animal House when he's bouncing around the yard of the sorority.
Stairs, yeah.
So, no, but we're aware, we're cognizant, we know what's going on. Let's talk to that a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Phil, thanks for having me again. I'm starting to be a fixture here. But I think that there's a great opportunity in that you and I are close for many years.
Yep.
And New Jersey has just opened up the doors for concealed carry. I've been teaching that stuff for years. So the ability to get this stuff out to your followers is vital. I added, you could say it was cheesy, but then after I thought about it, it was pretty good. I added 3A to the front of my Eagle Guardian Solutions, so I could get to the top of the list on the Metro approved instructors because they go alphabetically, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I said, I've got to put some weight to that. And I went with the paradigm of aware, armed, and able. So it was a triangle of self-defense.
Yeah.
And everybody who's carrying, even if you're not carrying, if you plan on being aware and engaging, if you have the opportunity and it's justified, you should have some kind of operating system that you're thinking about.
Yep.
And I broke it all down. If you want me to go into it,
yeah, we'll get into it. It's funny because
the first leg is aware,
right.
And for that I wanted to start off with Colonel Jeff Cooper. There's nobody that is more influential in the defensive pistol arena than Colonel Jeff Cooper. There's no doubt about it.
What branch was he in?
What's that?
Marines. What branch was he in?
Marines. But he was famous for his 4 stages of the mindset, basically his color code. and it was the 4 stages of a combat mindset. And his statement was, the gun, the person, that's not the most important weapon. The most important weapon is the mindset.
100%.
So his first color was white, and white was just like intentionally unaware. As he put it, white was unaware and unprepared. And we could have a ton of examples like that, you know.
And we're going to. We're
Yeah,
going to, because I see them every day.
yeah, down to the texting on the iPhone, your head's down, you don't see
Oh,
anything.
yeah. There's so many people that walk around with their AirBuds on or earbuds, whatever the heck they're called. They're sitting there scrolling on their phones. They're in the middle of the city, okay? Or they're in a parking lot. People get run over all the time. They have no
Right.
idea where they're going. And you know what? They got a target on their back. They're like, hey, look at me. I'm not aware. I have no idea what's going on around me.
Naish out at Front Sight had his own sequence of classifications, and he called those people IIs, intentionally incompetent.
Yeah.
You could tell them whatever you wanted to tell them, but they just didn't want to move.
You know what's really funny? You know what's really funny is that, you know, we talk about these things, and I know that we bring these matters up, and we talk to people all the time. But don't they realize that? Do they just want to be like the ostrich with their head in the sand? Even though no ostriches really do that, but that are they afraid to really look at what the potential is, the
I
potential
think they're
harm,
scared to death.
and
I
they
think
just think that
they're
they
scared to death.
ignore it, not
And a
them?
lot of them are scared to death because they haven't been exposed to anything. You know, if you go and do training,
Yeah.
sure, you can't train the absolute real thing, but you can get close to it and you can get visualization. You and I used to do it all the time.
All the
You know,
time.
apart from cutting ourselves the ribbons, you know, we
Yeah.
got as close as we could with it.
Yeah. I mean, and there are times that you do get cut.
Yeah, yeah,
And
but you have to do it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the point tournaments. The point tournaments really didn't do much for that guy that was going to really need to go balls to the wall.
Right.
Excuse my French. But the one down in Virginia, now that was something else.
Yeah.
And you had to do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, white, we all know what white is. White is just head in the sand. My life is what I'm thinking about, and I'm not aware of what's going on. And they're the ones that just are completely taken unawares, like a deer in the headlights.
Yep.
But his next color was the one that we need to pay attention to. Condition yellow. Condition yellow is what he recommended everybody to be in every day. You know, it was the person that was relaxed and alert. So you go enjoy yourself, but you're aware of the people around you. You go to sit in a restaurant, you sit in an area where you can observe people. You know all the exits, that kind of stuff. You spot people out and you look at ones that maybe are a little janky, and you have a plan for everything.
Yep.
But in general, it's just a wide open 360 degrees head on a swivel. That's it.
Yep. And another thing, something I typically do when I go to a restaurant or when I go to get on an airplane, I always walk to the bathroom.
Of course.
I give myself a good view of everyone in there.
See if the window comes up.
Huh?
See if the window comes up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another exit.
Yep. I want to look around. I want to see who's here. You know, where are my exits? What the layout is. Yeah, and also you don't really only look for people who you think might be a threat, but you also look for potential allies.
Excellent point. And this was a spot I thought that you could address too. Pre-assault indicators. This is where pre-assault indicators start to come up on it. And when you and I worked the door in some of these places, what did we look for? When is a guy ready to go?
Yep.
And we could spot him from across the room.
I know.
Well, this is where you start to look at that. You know,
it's crazy. It's
a
crazy.
lot of people don't know what we're talking about when we bring that up.
No. Like here, when I know we didn't work in the super hairy places like Percy and I worked in, but I remember we used to stand up. Yeah. I mean,
Well, that one dance club we went to was pretty
that
loud.
was pretty rough. we used to have 3 to 4 fights a night, easy,
Right.
not including the skirmishes at the door.
Right.
But we'd sit up there and say, okay, there's going to be a fight there. There's going to be a fight there. And, you develop this sixth sense that lets you know when something's going to happen. You can feel the vibe. You see guys like fronting with
Describe
each
some
other.
of the body language. Yeah, describe it. That's what I thought
Yeah.
you
Like you see
wanted.
the posturing, you see,
Definitely.
you see their back stiffen, you see them starting to get agitated, these are all signs. And the thing is that, most people don't pay attention to this at all.
No, they don't.
No, we had a situation. We were in a place called the Capitol Grill. It's a very nice chain,
Right.
and I'm sitting in there, and I'm with my wife. We're eating in the tables by the bar. The bar's over there, and I noticed this guy walk in. Now, definitely wasn't dressed for the place. Definitely wasn't dressed for the place.
Point number one.
Yep. And he's looking around, kept walking around through the bar. Okay. I look, if you walk through once or twice, maybe you're looking for somebody, but then he's on the phone. And you can say, well, maybe he was just, trying to meet someone there.
Yeah.
But look, I was really paying attention. I was looking at him, watching him look at the purses and so forth. And so when you come in there, though, they make you write down your name and phone number because then they call you for your table, right? So I went up to the hostess and I go, look, this is a guy here. I think something's up. So she called the maitre d'. So I told him, and then what they did, they called his phone, and as he was doing it, he happened to leave. But that wasn't his phone number.
Of course not. His
Just
name
casing
was
it to
probably M. Mouse up on the list.
Yep. And she goes, yeah, it's a fake name and number. I go, yeah. I go, okay.
So he was scoping.
Yep. So the maitre d' was very thankful, gave us like free dessert and coffee and a drink or something, whatever. But the place was packed. You know how many people noticed it? Me.
You, yeah.
Me. That's it. Me. That's
Yeah.
it. Nobody else.
I love it when we pointed out and the person that we're with goes, can you just relax? What are you so paranoid about?
Now my wife knows me better right now.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay. I go, listen, I got my plan. Don't worry. So I go, listen, if it hits the fan, just get down on the ground. If
Yeah,
you see me move
get under
quick,
the table.
yep. I go, you see me move quick, just get down and out of my way.
Yeah, well, that's in the next color. We can get to it. But the one thing in yellow is you have to watch out for your six. If you and I are together, I'm not worried about it.
Right.
But if we're alone, you still have to worry about your six.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. There's a good example where this came up, but in a positive sense. I was in, what the hell's his name? Great biker bar out here, and it was jammed, elbow to elbow. I walked in and I went over by where the owner stands because I trained him at CCW. We're friends. And I saw on the other side of the room a guy about 6'2", walking smooth, looking around, head on a swivel. A couple minutes go by, he ends up right next to me. We kind of gravitated towards each other. Turns out he's from SEAL Team 6. He's a regular guy. And we start talking about what we're doing. And he asked me, he goes, why, what do you do? And I said, well, I teach civilians, defense. And he goes, come on, what do you waste the time? He goes, 1% of them is going to fight to the end. I said, yeah, but when they learn a little bit, they walk out the door with their chest up. They're a little bit more confident. They look around and maybe they don't look like a good target. So it's worthwhile. He goes, I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, look, anything you can do to make people less of a target.
Absolutely.
Look, and here, the same thing if you're training, I always liked people to train at a very hardcore high level.
Right.
And some of us did. Most people could never achieve that. And, but I shifted gears and I didn't want to deal with those people before. But then I shifted gears and I said, well, when you go to college, some people get straight A's, some people B's, some people C's. They all get a degree, but are they better for having trained with you? Is this person better off having at least some semblance of training that you were able to provide them? And this is where I'm at. Look, so
I know what you gave me. I could testify to that all day long.
Yeah, but you were like, you were really into training. I mean, you want to take to the next level. Not everybody wants to do that.
I know.
You
I
know,
know.
and that's okay. But you know what? The thing is, they still get something from it.
Right.
They're better off after doing it.
They're confident. Yeah.
Yes,
Confident
absolutely.
in their abilities.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know.
So
Yeah.
now you're
You
saying
put
the
out
next
a
one.
lot of good people.
Oh yeah, we had some real good people.
Really good.
So you're saying the next one is orange.
Next one is orange, and orange is the one where you have a specific alert. So say in the relaxed alert, we're looking around, and like you say, you saw this guy that's dressed kind of off.
Yeah.
Well, you got him in the back of your mind. So if he goes out and he comes back in, now you're starting to slide into orange,
Yep.
where you're specifically focusing on this guy. You have a plan in mind because you've trained before. You know what you're going to do. You may just retreat to call the police because there's too many innocents in the way, depending on how it falls out. Or you may engage, whatever. But that specific alert requires a certain amount of training. We'll talk about when we get to the next level, because that's a show all in of itself.
Exactly.
Orange is something that you can't maintain all day long. You
No.
can maintain yellow all day long,
Mhm.
but orange is going to take some energy out of it.
Yes. Yeah. You can't be
From
that
there,
high alert. You burn out.
yeah, from there he goes, and orange has all the visualizations in there. So
Right.
the pre-assault indicators you expect, they've already what they say is it's tripped your mental trigger.
Mhm.
He's gone over that limit where, okay, now we've gone from looking at you to focusing on you.
Right.
So you've already tripped my trigger.
Yep.
And from there, if it goes worse, you go into red, which is all the way, it's ready to go.
That's
But you
it.
have a plan for this. You have to have a plan for this. How much ammunition do you have if it goes bad? Does he have an accomplice? Would it be better for you to get 911 on the phone instead of engage? But it depends on who you're protecting.
Yeah. Well, usually, I mean, from what I've seen, is usually if you have the time to contact 911 first.
I think that's the best move.
Yeah. And then, if you see something going down, contact them and then be ready to go if you need to. And then let them know that you're engaged in it. You're potentially going to be engaged in this. So they don't shoot you too.
In some color codes that I looked at, everybody's always trying to reinvent the wheel. I
Yeah.
see that a lot now. With the next generation of instructors, they don't want to spit out the same old stuff, even though it isn't broke. It works,
Yeah.
but they want to add something. And some people have added black to it, and
Wow.
black is just the catastrophic ending to somebody that's been in condition white. It just went from white to black.
Boom, you're
This
done.
guy doesn't know what's going on, but he goes, "How did that happen to me?"
Yeah.
Because you were unaware. I think Jeff Cooper did a great job with that.
Yeah.
And it fills that aware triangle
Mhm.
for me pretty well. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next
I
leg,
like
the next leg is armed, and armed, honestly, would take up 2 shows. You can talk about weapons, you can talk about selection,
Yep.
where you're going to carry it, what clothes you're going to wear. I mean, this is the whole step that you need to have laid out smooth, because if you're going to react, just like the way you'd carry your kukri or the way you'd carry your bow staff, you know exactly what you can do with
Yep.
the tools you have. And that, I think, is important. I
Well,
think a lot of people that went and got their CCW maybe need some coaching in how to select the right EDC pistol, and
Yep.
how to carry it.
Yeah. I mean, look, the things, it depends where I'm going or what I'm doing, but primarily I carry my 357 snub nose.
Yeah, that's a nice gun. That's a
I
nice
mean, does the job.
Yeah.
And it's very concealable. Nobody knows I ever have it.
Yeah.
If I have
Do
my
you
knife,
carry out abdominal? You carry abdominal
Yeah.
in front?
yeah, I have it inside the waistband.
Yeah.
I have one outside too, but I've only used the inside the waistband one.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the abdominal carry. You just have to be sure that the holster's adequate to protect that trigger, because
Yeah.
there are some guns out there that don't really have much of a safety feature.
Yeah.
Even the SIG 320 has no even trigger bar like the Glocks.
Yeah.
So that can go off. But then again, if it's in the right kind of holster and it comes out, it doesn't snag, it should be fine.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I got a
we talk-
17, I got a 1796. You know those guys?
No, I'm not familiar with them.
I'm sorry, 1791.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
1791.
you're comfortable with it? It has the little wedge in there and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got the lip and it hooks and, you know, but
They
I,
added a lot of features so they could jack the price up to $160.
no, actually, it's pretty cheap, this one.
Yeah.
It was only like 40 something bucks.
You know, at this point, if you don't mind me, I'm gonna put a cheap plug in here.
Yeah, go ahead.
The most people, when they go to the range, they use an outside the waistband Kydex holster to do their training, and that beats the hell out of the finish on the gun. I've started making I've started making range holsters that are all leather, one price, $100. I'll finish it. I'll finish the edge. I'll do whatever color you want, but it's a fold over like a Western design. It's not a pancake design, right?
Now, does that fit on your, I need
It's
one or
perfect.
two of those.
Yeah, I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
But it fits outside the waistband, and it's perfect. You can get a 2-inch drop or a no-inch drop, whatever you want, and it's a little bit looser. So, like Kydex, it works perfectly on the range for practice.
Does it have a safety clip?
No, I don't do a safety clip on there. I have it molded so when it slips in there, you can feel the trigger guard slip in. So it has some security. It doesn't flop around or anything. But
Jersey, we have to have the Jersey. We have to have that the clip.
Not that Serpa thing. Are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, don't use that.
But you have to do it for testing.
That Serpa supposedly has some real nightmare stories about engaging. Some woman had her gun in her purse with the lipstick and everything else and a Serpa, and it kind of caught in the trigger guard and kind of surprised her. There was only one, we were talking about the SIG 320, there was only one instance where an off-duty cop had his 320 packed in there, and he moved his leg and the thing went off. And that's the only incidents I heard, you know.
Well, let me ask you, do you have any shoulder holster ones?
Oh yeah, I made shoulder holsters.
Yeah, I want that.
I should get one. It's in the shed, but it would take a while to get it.
Okay, you got an order right now.
Oh yeah, you want one?
Yeah.
I can take care of that. You want a straight drop or a horizontal drop?
I think the horizontal.
Fine on kind of a slant.
Like a slant.
Yeah, that'd be fine. That'd be fine. I'll get you measurements after the show.
Yeah, we'll do it a Glock 19.
Oh, easy, very easy. Yeah, I use the Expedition leather. It's an oil finished leather, very smooth. I fold it over so the seams look nice.
Yeah.
Rides over your shoulder, you don't even know it's there.
Good.
And I set it up so you can hook on any other holster you want.
Right,
Nags on this side, gun on that side.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yeah,
good.
it comes out pretty nice.
Beautiful. Okay.
I was watching the Bat Masterson shoulder holsters and that one that he wore in Tombstone, and I was copying that one too.
Yeah.
Anyway, where are we going? Okay, we're doing
armed.
Armed. We talked about armed. That we got to leave to another show because there's a lot of stuff there. But
especially when you're talking about practicing with the holster you're going to wear. I practice with my holster.
Yeah, if you rely on the gun store salesman, you're going to be in trouble. I can't blame them because they sell what they have in stock.
Right.
But does the gun really fit your hand? Some women may go in there and they can't operate the gun. To them, I used to say, just get a squeeze ball. Get a squeeze ball for a couple of weeks. All of a sudden, your hand strength comes up and you can operate the gun. If not, get a revolver. Whatever it is.
And the cool thing about the revolver is if someone's laying on top of you, you still fire.
There's no malfunctions on it.
If someone's laying, a lot of people don't realize if someone's laying on top of you, and the barrel's pushed into them, you can pull that automatic. It's not going to work.
It isn't going to work. You have an expensive hammer. That's all you have there. All right, the last leg on this triangle is able. I'm aware, I'm armed, and I'm able. And the ability we're talking about more is a permission. Are you able within the limits of the law? Now, law enforcement, for law enforcement to interact, they have their use of force continuum, right?
Continue. Yep.
And they work with that. They can go from presence to deadly force in the blink of an eye if they feel it's justified.
Yep.
They can shoot a fleeing felon in the back because he's a danger to the community. We can't do that. Civilians can't do that. If the person is retreating, we have to let them retreat.
Depends on the state.
Well, yeah, yes and no,
Yes and no.
but
Yes
it
and no.
depends on the jury. And the jury's always going to look at a reasonable and prudent person.
Right.
And most reasonable and prudent people aren't looking forward to killing someone.
No. No.
We're not. I don't want that on my conscience.
I
I won't hesitate if I have to, but I don't want it on my conscience. I don't go out looking for it. So in this arena, they have what's called the IMOP principle, right? IMOP, intent, means, opportunity, and preclusion. Now let's go down the line. You need all of them. You need all of them to use deadly force. Intent, you know what intent is, but you have to prove it. So somebody had to hear him say, I'm going to kill you. Somebody had to see him charge at you with, balled fists. So he has the intent to do you damage. Opportunity, a disparity in size, a weapon, right? He could be waving a knife. He could show a gun. I'm talking about means. I'm sorry, I skipped one. Means. Means is the weapons. He has the weapons, or he has the disparity in size. This could be a guy against a female, whatever. So the means are there for that guy to do damage to this person. Significant.
Yeah.
Now you can have intent and means, but if you don't have opportunity, you're going nowhere. The opportunity is the distance, the proximity. Is he able to carry that out? He could be driving past you, waving this knife, saying, I'm going to kill you, and the car keeps going. There's no opportunity. If the car stops, then you have the three conditions. The fourth one is the one that you have to be careful about. Preclusion states, do you have an alternative? Do you have any alternative that you can use instead of using deadly force? And even in the states with castle doctrine and stand your ground laws, a jury still may listen to a lawyer talking about, he could have walked out. There were no other family members in the house.
Yeah.
Stuff is not as important as life. So if you stole something, big deal. You never know how it's going to go. But preclusion is the one that's the sticky point.
Yeah.
And without your liability insurance, you're up a creek to begin with.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So what do you think about those? I always
No.
try to figure out how I would remember that phrase. And I came up with, if the situation arises, I mitigate the other person. IMOP.
Yep. Yep.
Everybody knows what mitigate is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, those are great words to live by. I like that, and I hope people pay attention to that. I'm actually going to put that in the description.
They didn't give you a handout in the.
Oh yeah, I have all that. Yeah, I went to I took the class.
Page on that.
Yeah, I took the class and everything. Yeah, New Jersey's like 10 times worse, but
well, 10 times worse or more cautious. Well, you want to look at it.
Well, they charge you a lot more money too.
Yeah, well, they always will. Being an insurance state, anything I can tack a premium onto.
Exactly.
But the thing that people have to realize when they're carrying is they're going to be judged on the basis of reasonable and prudent.
Yes.
2 years down the line, when everything is cold in everybody's memory, and the prosecutor is going to outline this, where the victim or the offender, which probably should be he should be serving life,
right,
got shot dead. You did the right thing. It was a good shoot. But still you have a jury there that's going to judge it as a reasonable and prudent person.
Yes. And that's a chance you take, but if you're going to die, it's a good chance to take.
What was the phrase? Choice. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried
by 6 any day of the week. One of the things too is that, we're talking about gun rights and so forth, is, we had another shooting. And of course,
the one you're talking about at the Christian school.
Yes. Yeah, which this is insane. I mean, there's so many different areas politically to go down with this, but I don't even that doesn't really concern me right now. Well, it does.
I'd love to talk about it if you want to. I have an opinion.
Well, I do want to talk about this. I just want to talk about it on a medical level.
Okay.
Here you have a woman who thinks she's a man,
Right.
acting like a man, taking the hormones, taking testosterone. Plus, she's also on psychotropic drugs, SSRIs, so forth. Okay. Now she's under the care of medical doctors, right? Didn't it dawn on anyone involved that there might be some type of interaction between the testosterone and the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors and any of the other psychotropic drugs that she was on? Don't you think that maybe this would have heightened her aggression? Did this dawn on anyone involved, these medical professionals? This is
well, when you listen to her parents say she's definitely not somebody that should own a gun.
Right.
They stated that. That's a red flag. Why didn't you do the red flag laws? Where was the background check? Obviously, the doctors did not submit the diagnosis. It never got to the guys.
Yeah, but the thing is that with the HIPAA laws,
it's still mental illness when it comes to buying a firearm if they do the background check. But Tennessee may have relaxed that background check if it was a personal sale. I don't know. I'm not sure. All I know is that what I got angry about was years ago, they were going after who the people were that were radicalizing young Americans to become jihadists, right?
Yes.
Radicalization of our young. What's going on? And now they've forgotten that argument when the left is radicalizing people that have gender confusion or whatever, and they're pointing to the Christian church and saying, these are your enemies.
Right. And it's their fault. It's their fault.
I think they set that up. That was radicalizing that poor, unfortunate person.
Yes, and then 3 kids and 3 adults died for no reason. And then this is the other thing. If you want to talk about, we protect what? Airports. We protect money. We protect jewelry, but we don't protect kids. Israel had one school shooting. I think it was like 1974. Ever since then, they put armed guards. No shootings. No school shootings. What is the aversion here?
It begs the question. I mean, Israel has been on top of defensive security for years.
For years.
Why don't we do the same thing? I don't understand.
And listen, we got plenty of money to go send it in other places. We can't spend the money to take care of our kids. Why isn't there a federal bill in place to have armed, trained guards in our school buildings? Why don't we have man-trap doors?
Can Israeli citizens own weapons?
Yes,
they can.
Yeah.
I don't know that for a fact, because I know what we're doing is tied to their agenda to try and remove guns. I mean, every time there's a shooting, that would be like saying every time there's an outbreak of obesity, we should go and regulate knives and forks.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. No. The person is the one that's making the decision here.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and the other thing is that, we have a mental health issue in this country, not a gun problem, because 40 years ago, we had more guns per capita than we do now. Yet, how come there are no mass shootings?
Health problem. We caused this.
Yes. Well, of course, the wanton distribution of selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors.
Yeah.
These some of these therapists, I don't know what they're thinking about. They have no idea what they're doing. They're saying instead of trying to help someone, what we're doing is saying, well, you're okay. There's nothing wrong with you. Everyone else has to change. And yet these people they're still not happy.
And I don't know if they were brought on to a team or not, but after seeing that with money, Soros was able to get so many district attorneys on his way of thinking, I'm not so sure that they haven't done that with a lot of therapists. I have no idea. They do it with medical boards. You're going to prescribe one way or the other, or you're not going to get covered. So I have no idea. I can't believe that many responsible people are actually out trying to crush this country. and hurt people. I mean, this country gave them everything they had from childhood up. Even Biden. I mean, Biden's a little bit off the center, but how can he just throw this country under the wheels like that? I don't understand it.
What paid for. But
You know,
as Israeli citizens can carry weapons under certain conditions.
okay, certain conditions.
There are some serious limitations, but they can.
But there's some serious militia walking around too that, you know,
Yeah.
voted for Bear.
You see that all over the place.
That's a hell of a way to live. You know, they've had a hell of a history.
I know.
You know, I just can't imagine. It's weird, but the 20-something group, I don't know what they're thinking about. I was in FedEx this morning trying to ship a pistol back to Walther, and it was already cleared by FedEx main office. They're the ones that sent me the label. And I had this 20-something gal behind the counter who was just doing all she could to say, I can't ship that pistol. And I finally said, you know, get a manager.
Yeah.
And she came out, the manager came out, and she looked at the woman. She said, is this label prepaid? Yes. Well, then it's already been authorized and checked.
Yeah.
Boom, done. But you could see the kid was livid. Firearm, firearm. I said, it's a piece of steel. It's not going to do anything. It's a heavy hammer. That's all it is. You know, it's just, they have that generation just brainwashed. They'll never vote for Trump. They'll never vote for Trump, no matter how bad the Democrats.
No. And the things that people don't even realize that you're 7 times more likely to get killed by a knife in this country than any long arm, including
definitely
weapons, including shotguns, rifles, anything.
If somebody wants to kill you, they're going to kill you.
Exactly.
I mean, they have active shooting now. What stops that guy from doing gas or chemical or a virus? You know, I mean, there's a million ways to do something like that.
You know, before we wrap up, tell people again where they can reach you.
What's that?
Before we wrap up, tell people again where they can reach you.
Oh, geez. I'm in Las Vegas. You can get me on Facebook, JRP430. I'm there. Eagle Guardian Defensive Solutions is listed on there. And JRPearson33 at Gmail. Send me any message if you're interested in holsters or any kind of training. If you're out here, I'd be happy to do whatever's needed.
Beautiful. Excellent. Thank you for coming on. I'll talk to you soon. And audience, thank you for listening. Master Phil signing off. Strength and honor.